I'm standing outside my mother's house on Thanksgiving, holding a homemade apple pie and a bottle of wine, listening to laughter echo from inside. The November air in Phoenix is crisp, maybe 60 degrees, but I feel cold in a way that has nothing to do with the weather. My hand reaches for the doorbell, hesitates, then presses it anyway. Footsteps. The door swings open. Madison stands there in a cream cashmere sweater that probably cost more than my weekly paycheck. Her hair is professionally blown out, her makeup flawless. She's 21, a junior at Barrett Honors College, and right now she's looking at me like I just tracked mud across her future. "Oh, you came." Her voice carries that specific tone I've learned to recognize over the past few years, the one that sounds like she's trying to be polite, but is actually calculating how quickly she can get rid of me. Of course I came. It's Thanksgiving, family dinner. I hold up the pie with what I hope is a warm smile, trying to ignore the knot forming in my stomach. Madison glances over her shoulder, then back at me. "Right. So the thing is," she lowers her voice, stepping onto the porch and pulling the door mostly closed behind her. "We're having kind of an important dinner tonight. Important people, you know? Important people." I repeat the words slowly, not quite understanding. "Yeah, like some of my professors are here. And my friend Brittany's dad, he's a partner at a law firm downtown. And Marcus, he just started this tech startup, and they're looking at Series A funding," and she stops, realizing she's rambling. "The point is, these are people who can help me network, people who matter for my career." Something cold settles in my chest. And I don't matter? That's not what I said, but she won't meet my eyes. It's just, "You're an AC tech, Elena. These people are talking about business strategy and market disruption and venture capital. What are you going to talk about? Refrigerant leaks?" The pie suddenly feels very heavy in my hands. "Madison, who's at the door?" Our mother's voice drifts from inside. "Nobody, Mom. Just someone dropping something off," Madison calls back. Then to me, quieter, "Look, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being realistic. You showing up in your work boots, talking about fixing air conditioners. It doesn't exactly scream success story, you know? And Mum's been telling everyone about how well I'm doing, about my opportunities, and if I'm here, you'll look bad." I finish her sentence. She has the decency to look uncomfortable, but she doesn't deny it. I've worked really hard to build connections with these people. I can't have them thinking my family is, blue collar, I say flatly. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. For a long moment, we just stand there. Inside, I hear someone laugh at something, and the sound feels like it's coming from another universe. A universe where sisters don't stand on opposite sides of a threshold, measuring each other's worth by job titles and tax brackets. "I paid for 60% of your tuition this semester," I say quietly. $12,000. That's 4 months of 60-hour weeks, Madison. 4 months of crawling through attics in 115-degree heat, fixing AC units for families who are desperate because their kids can't sleep in the heat. Her jaw tightens, and I'm grateful, really, but that doesn't change that I embarrass you. "Elena, it's fine." I set the pie down on the porch table, next to a decorative pumpkin that probably cost $40 at some boutique store. "Happy Thanksgiving, Madison." I turn to leave, but I hear it through the door, Mom's voice crystal clear. Madison's handling it. "We can't have every random person showing up. This is an important evening. Random person. That's me. Random." Madison winces. "She didn't mean—" "Yeah, she did." I'm already walking down the steps, my work boots, because yes, I came straight from a service call, crunching on the decorative gravel. Enjoy your important evening? The drive back to my apartment takes 20 minutes, but I don't remember a single second of it. I end up sitting in my truck in the parking lot, engine off, staring at nothing. My name is Eleanor Carter. I'm 28 years old. I'm a certified HVAC technician with Desert Air Solutions, and I make $55,000 a year. Good money for Phoenix, better than a lot of college graduates starting out. I own my truck outright. I have health insurance. I'm saving for a house, and apparently I'm not good enough to sit at my own family's table. My phone buzzes. A text from Madison. Don't be dramatic, we'll do something next week. Not an apology. Not, I'm sorry, just don't be dramatic. I open my banking app, something I do maybe twice a month, usually just to make sure everything's in order. But tonight I actually look at it, really look at it. My checking account, $3,200. My savings account, $12,300. For a 28-year-old with no debt, that's not terrible, except it should be so much more. I've been working since I was 18. 10 years of steady employment, minimal expenses, no car payment, no credit card debt. Where did it all go? I know where it went. I've always known. I just never added it up before. I opened my laptop, because yes, I brought it with me. I was going to show Mom and Madison the photos from the Grand Canyon trip I took last month with some co-workers. Thought they might want to see that I actually have a life. And I create a new spreadsheet. The first entry is easy because I just made it. Full semester tuition for Madison. $12,000. I sent it directly to the university bursar's office on September 1st. Spring semester last year, $12,000. Full semester before that, $11,500. It went up. I keep going. 3 years of college, $60,000 per year tuition at a private university. And I've been covering anywhere from 60 to 70% of it, because Mom's job as an administrative assistant at a medical supply company brings in maybe $38,000 a year, and financial aid only covers so much when you're not quite poor enough to qualify for the full ride, but not nearly rich enough to pay out of pocket. Tuition alone, $126,000 over 3 years. But that's not everything, is it? I add another row, mortgage payment for Mum's house. I started paying that when I was 23, right after Mum lost her previous job and was unemployed for 6 months. She got a new job eventually, but by then I was already handling the mortgage, and somehow it just stayed that way. $1,200 a month for 5 years, $72,000. Madison's car insurance. She's 21, still on Mom's policy, but I'm the one who pays it because she's a student. She can't afford it, Elena, you understand, don't you? $600 every 6 months for 3 years. $3,600. The emergency room visit when Mom had chest pains 2 years ago and the insurance didn't cover everything. $8,500. The new roof for Mum's house that was absolutely critical, Elena. It's leaking into Madison's room and she has finals. $14,000. Madison's laptop for college, $2,000. Madison's textbooks every semester because somehow she never qualifies for the rental programs. Average $400 per semester, 6 semesters so far, $2,400. The spring break trip to Cabo that Madison went on with her friends last year because everyone else is going and I'll be left out, and it's important for networking. Elena, these are my future colleagues. I told myself I wouldn't pay for that. I really did. But then she called me, crying, saying she'd already committed and everyone had booked and Mum couldn't help and she'd be the only one not going. And God, she sounded so young and desperate, and I did it. $1,800. The total at the bottom of the spreadsheet sits there blinking at me. $184,900. $184,900. That's not a car. That's not a vacation. That's not a shopping spree. That's a house, a nice house. That's a down payment on a house and a new truck and a retirement account and maybe, just maybe, enough left over to finally go back to school myself. Finish the degree I started at community college when I was 18. The degree I dropped after 1 year because Mum lost her job and someone needed to bring in money and Madison was only 11 and someone had to be the responsible one. I was 18 years old. I had a 3.8 GPA. I was going to study environmental engineering. I wanted to design sustainable cooling systems for buildings, help solve the urban heat island effect that makes Phoenix summers so deadly for people who can't afford air conditioning. Instead, I went to vocational school for HVAC certification because it was faster, cheaper, and got me into the workforce in 2 years instead of 4. And I told myself it was temporary. I told myself I'd go back to school once things stabilized. But things never stabilized because I became the stability. I close the laptop, pick up my phone, open the family group chat that I'm technically part of, but rarely participate in because it's mostly just Mom sending Madison encouragement messages and Madison sending photos of her amazing college experience. I scroll back, weeks, months, years. Not once, not one single time in the past 3 years has Madison said thank you in this chat. Not for the tuition, not for the car insurance, not for any of it. There are dozens of messages from her about needs, about bills due, about opportunities she can't afford to miss, but 0 expressions of gratitude. I scroll to our private text thread, just her and me. It's mostly logistical. Did you send the payment? When can you transfer money? I need you to cover this. The last time she sent me something that wasn't asking for money was 8 months ago. A meme about brunch. That's it. My thumb hovers over the thread. I want to type something. I want to send her that spreadsheet and say, look at what I've done for you. Look at what I've sacrificed. But I don't because I know exactly what will happen. She'll say I'm being manipulative. Mom will say I'm making Madison feel guilty for accepting help from family. They'll say I offered, that nobody forced me, that this is what family does. And maybe they're right. Maybe this is what family does. But if this is what family does, then what do I get? What's my role in this equation besides ATM who occasionally shows up at holidays but should probably stay home if we have important guests? I put the phone down, make myself a sandwich because I never did get dinner, eat it standing at the kitchen counter, tasting nothing. At 11 p.m, my phone buzzes. Madison, don't forget to transfer the spring semester payment. $21,000 is due by December 15th. I need to buy my textbooks early this year and pay for my dorm deposit. Thanks. Not, hey, I'm sorry about tonight. Not, are you okay? Just send money. I stare at that message for a very long time. Then I open my laptop again and start typing an email. Not to Madison, not yet. To someone I should have talked to years ago. Her name is Nora. She's 35, a fellow HVAC tech at Desert Air, and she's worked there for 12 years. She's the person who trained me when I first started, who showed me that being a skilled trades worker isn't something to apologize for. It's something to be proud of. She's also someone who, 3 years ago, told me about her brother, who bled her dry financially until she finally said no. The email is simple. Coffee tomorrow? I think I need advice about my family. She responds within 10 minutes. 9 a.m, the place on 7th Ave. I'll bring my documents. Trust me, you'll want to see them. I don't sleep that night. Instead, I lie in bed, staring at my ceiling, remembering things I've spent years trying not to think about, like the time I was 13 and Dad died, sudden heart attack, no warning, gone before the ambulance arrived, how Mum just shut down for months, how I learned to make dinner for Madison, who was only 6 and didn't understand why Daddy wasn't coming home, how I got my first job at 15, cashier at a convenience store, working after school, because Mom was barely keeping it together and money was tight and someone had to help. How I graduated high school with honours and got into ASU and had a partial scholarship, but it still wasn't enough, and Mom sat me down and said, "I don't think we can make this work, Elena. Maybe community college for now?" And I said okay, because what else could I say? How I worked 2 jobs while going to community college, cashier during the day, waitress at night, and still managed a 3.8 GPA because I wanted it so badly. Wanted that degree, wanted that career, wanted to be someone who solved big problems and made a difference. How Mum lost her job the summer after my freshman year, and she looked at me with this exhausted, defeated expression and said, "I don't know what we're going to do." And I looked at 18-year-old Madison, who was starting middle school and had her whole life ahead of her, and I made a choice. I dropped out of community college, enrolled in a vocational program, got certified as an HVAC technician in 18 months while working part-time, started making real money by the time I was 20. And I told myself it was fine. I told myself I could always go back to school later. I told myself I was doing the right thing, being responsible, taking care of my family. Mum cried when I told her. She said, "You're saving us, Elena. You're saving this family." And I believed her. I believed I was the hero of this story. But heroes don't get kicked out of Thanksgiving dinner for being embarrassing. When I meet Nora at the coffee shop, she's already there, sitting in the back corner with a manila folder and 2 cups of coffee. She pushes one toward me as I sit down. "You look like hell," she says matter-of-factly. "Thanksgiving was fun. Tell me." So I do. I tell her about Madison's cashmere sweater and the important people and being told I'm too blue-collar to sit at my own mother's table. I tell her about the pie I left on the porch and the text that said, "Don't be dramatic." Nora doesn't interrupt. She just listens, her expression getting harder with every sentence. When I finish, she opens the folder and pulls out a document. It's a spreadsheet, neatly organized with dates and amounts and categories. "This," she says, "is every dollar I gave my brother over 7 years. Total $212,000. Know what I got in return?" "What?" "Resentment. Because it was never enough. Because saying yes once means you'll say yes forever. And if you ever say no, you're the villain." She pushes the spreadsheet across to me. "I showed him this 3 years ago when he asked me to co-sign on a car loan. I said, 'This is what I've done for you. Now you need to do for yourself.' Know what he said?" I shake my head. "He said I was being cruel. That family supports each other. That I owed him because he'd been there for me emotionally." She laughs, but there's no humour in it. Emotionally. Meanwhile, I was working 16-hour days to pay his rent while he pursued his art career. What happened? I said no. He cut me off, didn't speak to me for a year. Mum said I was tearing the family apart. She takes a sip of her coffee. "You know what's funny? After a year of not having me as a bank, he got a real job. Turned out he could pay his own bills when he had to. And now we actually have a relationship based on mutual respect, not transactions." "They hate you?" I ask quietly. "For a while, yeah. Mum still gives me grief sometimes. But you know what I have now?" She gestures around us. "My own house, a retirement account, savings, self-respect, and a brother who actually calls me to ask how I'm doing instead of what I can give him." She pulls out another document, a business card. This is the financial advisor I worked with, and this, another card, is the attorney who helped me understand my legal obligations. Spoiler alert, you don't have any, not to Madison, not for her college, not for your mum's mortgage, not for any of it. I take the cards, my hands shaking slightly. Eleanor, I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to really hear it. Nora leans forward, her eyes intense. You know why Madison doesn't thank you? Because she doesn't think you're giving her anything special. She thinks you're doing what you're supposed to do. In her mind, your entire purpose is to fund her life. That's exactly it. And your mum thinks the same thing. They've assigned you a role, the provider, the responsible one, the one who sacrifices so everyone else can shine. She sits back. And they'll keep you in that role until you die or go broke, whichever comes first. The words hit me like a physical blow because they're true. I know they're true. What do I do? My voice comes out smaller than I intended. Nora closes the folder. That's not for me to decide, but I'll tell you what I did. I calculated exactly what I'd given. I sent one email explaining that I was done being a bank. And then I stopped. Cold turkey. No negotiations, no exceptions, no guilt trips. They must have... Oh, they lost their minds. My brother called me every name in the book. Mom cried. Dad said I was selfish. But you know what happened? They survived. They figured it out. Because people do, Elena, when they have to. We sit in silence for a while. The coffee shop bustles around us, people ordering lattes, students working on laptops, couples sharing pastries. Normal people doing normal things. People who probably aren't sitting here calculating whether they have the courage to stop funding their own family's exploitation. Madison's spring tuition is due December 15th, I finally say. $21,000. And I've never missed a payment, not once in 3 years. Nora doesn't say anything, just watches me. If I don't pay it, she'll be dropped from her classes. She might have to take a semester off. It'll delay her graduation. Yes, Nora agrees. It might. She'll hate me. Probably. My mum will never forgive me. Possibly. I think about Madison standing in that doorway, looking at me like I was something she needed to scrape off her designer shoe. I think about all those messages asking for money, never asking how I am. I think about that spreadsheet, $184,900, and what my life could have been if I'd kept even half of it. I think about being 28 years old and living in a rented apartment with $12,000 in savings and no degree and no prospects for anything more because I've spent 10 years being everyone's safety net, while they tell me I'm not good enough to sit at their table. I need to make a phone call, I say. Nora smiles. Yeah, you do. I spend the weekend drafting an email. Delete it. Start over. Delete it again. By Sunday night, I have 17 versions saved in my drafts folder, each one slightly different, each one saying essentially the same thing. I'm done. Monday morning, I meet with the financial advisor whose card Nora gave me. Her name is Patricia Chen, and her office is in a modest building in Tempe, the kind of place that services regular working people, not hedge fund managers. Walk me through your situation, she says, and I do. I show her the spreadsheet. I tell her about Thanksgiving. I explain that I've been supporting my family for nearly a decade, and I'm not sure I can keep doing it. Patricia doesn't react with shock or judgment. She just nods, makes notes, and when I finish, she turns her computer screen toward me. This is a 10-year projection, she says. If you continue your current pattern of giving, let's be conservative and say you average $15,000 per year to family, this is where you'll be financially at age 38. The numbers are grim. Small savings, no retirement to speak of, still renting. And this, she flips to another spreadsheet, is if you redirect that money starting now. Max out your 401k, build your emergency fund to 6 months of expenses, save for a house down payment. The difference is staggering. By 38, I could own a home outright, have a robust retirement account, actually take vacations. Here's what people don't understand about family financial dynamics, Patricia says, leaning back. Once you establish yourself as the rescuer, you're not allowed to stop being the rescuer. The family system depends on you staying in that role. If you try to leave it, they'll do everything possible to pull you back in. Guilt, anger, manipulation, love bombing, all of it. So what do? You set a boundary and you hold it. No explanation beyond the basic facts, no justification, no defending yourself. You simply state what you're going to do, and then you do it. She pulls out a template. This is what I recommend for situations like yours. It's clear, it's factual, and it doesn't leave room for negotiation. I read it over. It's professional, detached, final. What happens after I send it? I ask. Chaos, probably, for a while. But here's the thing. It's not your job to manage their emotions about your boundaries. You can care about them and still refuse to fund them. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. That afternoon, I sit in my truck during lunch break, the email pulled up on my phone. I've copied Patricia's template and personalised it. 3 recipients, Madison, Mom, and the bursar's office at Barrett College. My finger hovers over the send button for a solid 5 minutes. Then I think about Madison's face when she told me I'd embarrass her. The way Mum's voice sounded through the door. Random person. I press send. The email is simple. Dear Madison, Mom and Barrett College Office of Student Accounts, effective immediately, I am discontinuing all financial support previously provided to Madison Carter. This includes tuition payments, insurance coverage, and all other expenses. Over the past 3 years, I have contributed $126,000 toward Madison's education, plus an additional $58,900 in various family expenses. I have done this willingly and without expectation of repayment. However, I can no longer sustain this arrangement. Madison will need to make alternative arrangements for her spring semester tuition and all future expenses. This decision is final and not open to discussion. Eleanor Carter. I attach the spreadsheet. All of it. Every line item, every date, every dollar. Then I turn off my phone and go fix an air conditioner for a family in Glendale whose unit died in the middle of the night and who has a 2-year-old who can't sleep in the heat. I don't turn my phone back on until I get home at 7 p.m. 43 missed calls, 67 text messages, 14 voicemails. I pour myself a glass of wine and start reading. The texts from Madison start desperate. What the hell is this email? Eleanor, call me right now. This isn't funny. You're joking, right? Then they turn angry. You can't just abandon me 2 weeks before the payment deadline. I have plans. I have commitments. Do you have any idea what you're doing to my life? Then pleading, please. I'm sorry about Thanksgiving. I was stressed. I didn't mean it. You're my sister. You can't do this to me. I'll fail out. Is that what you want? For me to fail? Mum's messages follow a similar pattern, but with an added layer of maternal guilt. Eleanor Marie Carter, what has gotten into you? Your sister is crying. She's devastated. We are family. You don't turn your back on family. Your father would be ashamed. That last one makes me set down the wine glass. My hands are shaking. My father would be ashamed. The man who died when I was 13, who never got to see me graduate high school or become the person I am now. She's invoking his memory to make me feel guilty for not wanting to be a bank anymore. I open the voicemails. I listen to 3 before I have to stop. Madison, sobbing. How could you? How could you just give up on me? I thought you loved me. I thought family meant something to you. Mom, ice cold. You've made your choice, Elena. I hope you can live with the consequences. Madison again, her voice raw. Everyone's going to know. Everyone's going to know my sister abandoned me. Do you know how humiliating this is? Not, I'm sorry for how I treated you. Not, I understand why you're hurt. Just, how could you do this to me? I'm the villain in their story. I've always known that if I ever said no, this is what would happen. But knowing it and living it are 2 different things. Tuesday morning, I go to work. I tell my supervisor, Mike, that I need to keep my phone on silent for a while. Family emergency. He doesn't pry. Nora finds me during lunch. You did it. I did it. How do you feel? I have to think about that. Like I just jumped off a cliff and I'm not sure if I'm flying or falling. She squeezes my shoulder. That's normal. Stick with it. Don't engage with the chaos. But the chaos escalates. Wednesday, Mum shows up at my apartment. I see her car in the parking lot when I get home and consider just driving away, but I'm exhausted and I've been in a hot attic all day and I just want to take a shower. She's waiting by my door, holding a Tupperware container. I brought you dinner, she says. Your favourite. Chicken enchiladas. My mum has never made me chicken enchiladas. That's Madison's favourite. Mum, I'm tired. Can we just talk? Please, 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I unlock the door and let her in. She sets the Tupperware on my counter and turns to face me. For a moment, she just looks at me, and I see something in her face I haven't seen in years. Uncertainty. Like she's not sure how to talk to me anymore without asking for something. Elena, I don't understand what's happening, she says finally. You've always been so responsible, so reliable, and now you're just throwing it all away? I'm not throwing anything away. I'm choosing myself for once, but Madison needs you. She's so close to graduating. Madison is 21 years old. She can get student loans like millions of other people do. But she'll be in debt. And I've been in debt to her for 3 years. Emotional debt. The debt of never being good enough, never being respectable enough, never being anything except a checkbook. Mum flinches. That's not fair. Mom, I'm so tired. I wasn't allowed at Thanksgiving because Madison was embarrassed that I'm an AC tech. She said I'd make her look bad in front of her important friends. And you, I heard you through the door. You called me a random person. I didn't mean... Yes, you did. You meant exactly that. I'm not part of the family when it's inconvenient. I'm only family when you need money. That's not true. We love you. Do you? The question comes out sharper than I intended. When's the last time you asked how I'm doing? When's the last time you wanted to spend time with me when you didn't need something? When's the last time you were proud of me? She opens her mouth, closes it, can't answer. I've given you and Madison almost $200,000, I continue, and in return I get, what, contempt? Shame? The privilege of being treated like I'm beneath you? You're being dramatic. There it is. The same thing Madison said. Don't be dramatic, Elena. Just shut up and keep paying. I never said that. You didn't have to. It's what you've shown me for 10 years. Mum's eyes fill with tears. For a moment I almost cave, almost take it all back. Because she's my mum, and seeing her cry still does something to me, triggers that old instinct to fix things, to make everything okay. But then she says, if you do this, Madison will have to drop out. Her whole future will be ruined. Can you live with that? And just like that, the impulse to cave evaporates. Madison's future isn't my responsibility, I say quietly. It's hers. Mum stares at me like I've said something in a foreign language. Then her expression hardens. Fine. If that's how you feel, then fine. But don't expect us to just forgive this, Elena. Don't expect to come crawling back when you realise what you've thrown away. I won't. She grabs her purse, leaves the Tupperware on the counter. I notice it's not even warm. She probably bought it from somewhere, didn't actually make it. And walks out. The door clicks shut, and I stand there in my empty apartment, shaking. Friday afternoon, I'm finishing up a maintenance call in Scottsdale when my phone buzzes with a notification. Someone tagged me on Instagram. I open it, already knowing it's going to be bad. Madison has posted a story. It's a screenshot of my email with most of the text blurred out, but the dollar amounts clearly visible, along with a caption. My sister just abandoned me 2 weeks before tuition deadline. I might have to drop out because she decided to be selfish. If you've ever had family turn their back on you when you needed them most, you know how this feels. Family first. Heartbroken. Betrayed. The post already has 300 likes and dozens of comments. Most of them are sympathetic. OMG, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. Family should support each other. Can you set up a GoFundMe? But then I see a comment from an account I don't recognise. The username is something generic, but the comment stops me cold. Didn't your sister pay for your entire college for 3 years? And didn't you literally kick her out of Thanksgiving dinner for being just an AC tech? Maybe tell the whole story. The thread below it erupts. Wait, what? Is this true, Madison? I need context here because that email says $126,000 in tuition payments. Madison responds, "It's complicated. She offered to help. I never asked her to, and now she's using it against me." The anonymous account, I'm 90% sure it's Nora, God bless her, replies, "You didn't ask her to pay your tuition? That's interesting because I have screenshots of your texts asking for money." Madison's story disappears within an hour, but the damage is done. People are talking, her friends are questioning. The narrative is no longer poor Madison abandoned by cruel sister, but entitled Madison Bites Hand That Fed Her. Saturday morning, my doorbell rings at 8 a.m. I'm still in my pajamas, halfway through my first cup of coffee. It's Madison and Mom, together. Madison's eyes are red and puffy. Mum looks exhausted. They're holding a bakery box. "We want to talk," Mum says. "Really talk. Can we come in?" Every instinct tells me to say no, to keep the boundary firm, but there's something different in their faces, not the anger or guilt tripping from earlier, something more like defeat. I open the door. We sit in my living room, the bakery box unopened on the coffee table. Nobody speaks for a long moment. Finally, Madison breaks. "I'm sorry. About Thanksgiving. About everything." The apology sounds rehearsed, and I can see Mum's hand on her knee, a subtle reminder to stay on script. "I was awful to you," Madison continues. "I was so caught up in trying to impress people, trying to look successful, that I forgot. I forgot what you've sacrificed for me." "Okay." I wait. There's more coming, I can feel it. Mom leans forward. "We've been talking, Madison and I, and we understand that you're upset. We really do. But honey, this decision, cutting her off completely, it's just so extreme." "There it is. We were thinking," Mom continues, "maybe we could work out a compromise. Maybe you could just cover half the tuition, or help with the dorm fees. Just enough so Madison doesn't have to drop out. Then she can get loans for the rest." Madison nods eagerly. "I'll get a job. I'll help, I promise. Just, please don't make me take a whole semester off. I'll lose my momentum, and my friends will graduate without me, and—" "Stop." I hold up my hand. Do you even hear yourselves?" They look at each other, confused. "You came here to apologize," I say slowly. "But really, you came here to negotiate, to see how little of an apology you could get away with in exchange for me opening my wallet again." "That's not," Madison starts. "Yes, it is. Madison, you're not sorry you hurt me. You're sorry I cut you off. There's a difference." "I am sorry." Tears spill down her cheeks. "I really am. I know I was terrible. I know I took you for granted. But please, please don't punish me for it like this. I'm not punishing you. I'm releasing you. You're 21 years old. You're an adult. You need to figure out how to fund your own life." "But I can't." Madison's voice rises to a wail. "The loans won't cover everything, and I already committed to living in the dorms, and I have textbooks to buy, and then you make choices. You get a job, you move to a cheaper apartment, you buy used textbooks, you do what millions of college students do." "But I'm not like them. I have opportunities. I have connections with professors who can help me get into grad school, but only if I maintain my GPA, and I can't do that if I'm working 20 hours a week." And there it is, the real truth. Madison doesn't think the rules apply to her. She thinks she's special, that she deserves an easier path than everyone else because she's smart or ambitious or destined for greatness. And maybe she is smart. Maybe she will be successful. But she won't learn how to be successful if someone else pays for everything and protects her from every consequence. "You'll figure it out," I say. I did. Mum's expression shifts from pleading to cold. "So that's it? You're just going to let your sister's future crumble?" "Her future isn't crumbling, it's adjusting. She'll be fine." "You're being cruel." "No, I'm being honest. For the first time in 10 years, I'm being honest about what I need and what I'm willing to give. And what I need is to stop lighting myself on fire to keep you warm." The silence that follows is arctic. Madison grabs her purse. "Fine, fine. You want to be a selfish bitch? Go ahead. But don't expect me to ever forgive you for this. Don't expect to be part of my life anymore." "Okay," I say simply. She clearly expected me to break, to cave, to say, "Wait, no, I'm sorry." When I don't, she looks genuinely shocked. Mum stands. "You're making a mistake, Elena. Family is everything. Without family, you have nothing." "Maybe, or maybe I'll finally have myself." They leave. The bakery box stays on my coffee table, unopened. I look inside later. Croissants, not even my favourite. The next 3 weeks are hard in ways I didn't anticipate. It's not the yelling or the guilt trips, those I expected. It's the silence. Madison blocks me on all social media. Mum stops responding to my texts. Even my Aunt Linda, who I barely talk to anyway, sends me a message saying she's disappointed in my choices and hopes I'll come to my senses. The family has closed ranks and I'm on the outside. But something strange happens. As the silence stretches on, as I stop waiting for the phone to ring with another demand, another emergency, another crisis I'm supposed to solve, I start to breathe easier. I work my shifts. I save money. Real money, in amounts I haven't seen in years. I go out with Nora and some other co-workers for drinks on Friday nights. I sign up for a weekend hiking group. I start looking at houses online, not fantasizing, actually looking. With my salary and the money I'm now keeping for myself, I could qualify for a mortgage in 6 months. December 15th comes and goes. Madison's tuition isn't paid. I know because on the 16th I get an email from her, not from her personal account, but from a new one she created just to contact me since I'm blocked everywhere else. "I hope you're happy. I have to take next semester off. I'm moving back home with Mom. You've destroyed my education and my future. I'll never forgive you for this." I read it 3 times, looking for any acknowledgement of her role in this. Any understanding that choices have consequences, any hint that she's learned something. There's nothing. I delete the email and block the new account. 3 weeks later, I get a message from Nora. Check Madison's Instagram. I don't follow Madison anymore, but I can still see her public posts. The most recent one is from 2 days ago. It's a photo of her at a restaurant, not a fancy one, but nice enough, with a caption, "Starting my gap semester with a new perspective, taking time to work, save money, and figure out what I really want." Sometimes life doesn't go as planned, and that's okay. Growth mindset, personal development. The comments are supportive. Nobody mentions the earlier drama about her terrible sister who abandoned her. I scroll down further. 3 days before that, she posted about getting hired at a Starbucks. The caption reads, "First day, learning what real work looks like. Respect to everyone in service industry. This is harder than it looks." I stare at that post for a long time. Is she being genuine? Or is this performative, something to show people she's learning and growing while she waits for me to crack and send money? I don't know. And I realize I don't have to know. Her journey isn't mine to manage anymore. January comes. I close on a small house in Tempe. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, needs some work, but it's mine. My name on the deed, my mortgage, my space. Nora helps me move in. We spend a Saturday painting the living room a warm terracotta colour that makes the space feel alive. "How do you feel?" she asks as we sit on the floor, eating pizza surrounded by boxes. "Lighter," I say, and I mean it. My phone buzzes. It's a text from a number I don't recognise. "Hi, Elena, it's Madison. I'm using Mom's phone because I know you blocked me. I'm not asking for money. I just wanted you to know that I got a promotion at work. Shift supervisor." It's not much, but it's something. I've been thinking about what you said about making choices, about being an adult. I'm trying, that's all. You don't have to respond. I read it several times. Then I type, "Congratulations on the promotion. That's real work. Be proud of it." I hit send before I can second guess myself. 3 dots appear like she's typing. They disappear. Appear again. Disappear. Finally, thanks. That's all. Just thanks. It's not reconciliation. It's not forgiveness. It's not a return to how things were, but maybe it's a start, or maybe it's just closure. Either way, I'm okay with it. I finish my pizza, look around at my new house, my space, my achievement, my future, and I feel something I haven't felt in 10 years. I feel free. February brings routine. I settle into the house, figure out where things go, learn the sounds it makes at night. I fix the leaky faucet in the bathroom myself, YouTube video playing on my phone, teaching me what I need to know. There's a metaphor there, probably, about being self-sufficient, about not waiting for someone else to fix things. Work is busy. Phoenix winters are mild, but people still need their heating systems checked, and I'm good at my job, really good. Mike tells me I'm being considered for a master technician certification, which comes with a raise and more complex jobs. "You've got the skills," he says, "always have. Just needed to see it in yourself." I think about that a lot. About how much energy I spent trying to prove my worth to people who would never see it, while ignoring the people who already did. March 15th. I'm installing a new AC unit for a family in Chandler when I get a call from an unknown number. I almost don't answer. Unknown numbers are usually spam, but something makes me pick up. "Hello? Elena? It's Mom." I nearly dropped the phone. I haven't spoken to my mother in 4 months. Since that morning, she came to my apartment to negotiate, to convince me to keep funding Madison's life. "Hi," I say carefully. "I'm calling because—" She pauses, takes a breath. "Because I owe you an apology, a real one." I wait. Years of being the family fixer have taught me when to let silence do the work. I've been thinking a lot these past few months, she continues, about what you said, about never asking how you were doing, about only seeing you as someone who could solve problems with money. Okay. And you were right. I took you for granted. I made you responsible for things that weren't your responsibility. I let Madison treat you terribly because it was easier than making her face consequences. Her voice cracks. Your father died, and I fell apart. And you were 13 years old, and instead of protecting you, I let you become the adult. I let you sacrifice everything. And then I resented you for being stronger than me. I have to sit down. I'm standing in this family's backyard, and my legs suddenly won't hold me. I'm sorry, Mum says. I'm truly, deeply sorry. You deserved better. You deserve better. Tears are running down my face. I don't even realize I'm crying until a droplet lands on my work gloves. Thank you, I manage. That means thank you. I'm not asking you to forget what happened. I'm not asking for money. I just needed you to know that I see it now. I see what I did. We talk for 20 minutes. She tells me Madison is still working at Starbucks, taking online classes part-time through a community college, planning to transfer back to university next year with a better financial plan. She tells me she picked up a second job, part-time at Target, to cover the mortgage. I'm managing, she says. We're both managing. It's hard, but we're learning. Before we hang up, she says, I'd like to see your house sometime, if you'd be willing. I'd like that, I say, and I mean it. April, my 29th birthday. I throw a party at my house. Nothing fancy, just Nora and some co-workers, pizza and beer and a grocery store cake. It's small, it's simple, it's perfect. Madison sends a card, not a text, an actual card in the mail. The front has a cactus wearing a party hat. Inside she's written, Happy birthday. I'm sorry I wasn't there for your other birthdays. I'm sorry for a lot of things. Maybe we can talk sometime. When you're ready, M. I put the card on my fridge. I'm not ready yet. Maybe I will be someday. Maybe not. But for the first time in my life, that choice is mine. That night, after everyone leaves, I sit on my back porch with a beer and look up at the stars. The Phoenix sky is never truly dark because of the light pollution, but if you look hard enough, you can still see them. I think about the past 10 years, about the sacrifices I made, the dreams I deferred, the life I put on hold to be what everyone needed me to be. I think about that 18-year-old girl who wanted to study environmental engineering, who wanted to design sustainable cooling systems, who had so many plans. I pull out my phone and open the Arizona State University website. Click on Continuing Education. Look at the degree programs available for working adults. Environmental engineering, still there, still possible. The admission requirements say I can transfer my community college credits. It would take me longer, going part-time while working full-time, maybe 4 years, maybe 5. I'd be 33, 34 years old when I finished, but I'd be 33, 34 anyway. Might as well be 33 with a degree I actually want. I start the application. 3 months later, I get my acceptance letter. I frame it and hang it in my hallway, right next to my HVAC Master Technician certification that came through in May. Both matter. Both are worth celebrating. In July, Mum comes over for dinner. It's awkward at first. We haven't done this in years, just the two of us, without the buffer of Madison or the urgency of some crisis to solve. But we figure it out. We talk about small things, her new job, my classes, the weather, normal things. As she's leaving, she hugs me, really hugs me, not the perfunctory side squeeze we usually do. I'm proud of you, she whispers. I should have said that a long time ago, but I'm saying it now. I'm proud of you. I hold on a little longer than necessary. August, first day of classes. I'm sitting in an Introduction to Environmental Systems lecture hall, surrounded by students who are mostly a decade younger than me, and I should feel out of place. But I don't. I belong here. Finally, on my own terms, with my own money, building my own future. The professor asks us to introduce ourselves and say why we're pursuing environmental engineering. When it's my turn, I stand up. My name is Elena Carter. I'm an HVAC technician, and I've spent the past 10 years keeping people cool in one of the hottest cities in America. Now I want to learn how to design systems that do it more sustainably, more efficiently for everyone. The professor smiles. That's exactly the kind of real-world experience we need in this field. Welcome. I sit back down, and for the first time in longer than I can remember, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Not because someone else needed me there, but because I chose it. That night, I make a post on my Instagram, my first in months. It's a photo of my textbooks spread out on my kitchen table, in my house that I own. The caption reads, "Never too late to choose yourself. Here's to new beginnings and old dreams." Back to school, a HVAC, environmental engineering, her proud-to-be tradeswoman. I don't tag anyone. I don't call anyone out. I don't make it about what I walked away from. I make it about what I'm walking toward. The comments roll in, mostly from co-workers, from people in my hiking group, from classmates I just met. But there's one from an account I recognize. Madison's, just 3 words. Proud of you. I like the comment, don't respond, not yet. Maybe someday we'll rebuild what we had. Maybe we'll build something new and better. Maybe we'll just stay cordial and distant. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I know what it holds for me. Possibility, choice, freedom, and that's enough.